So let's get into chapter 16, talking about our regression. So a regression is quite similar actually to the last chapter that dealt with correlations. So there are just some things that regression can do that correlation can't do. So essentially, when I want you to think about the regression analysis, what I want you to imagine is just it's a step beyond what the correlations can do. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So as a reminder, the Pearson correlation, it looks at the degree to which two variables, so usually two interval or ratio variables, the degree to which those two variables form this straight line relationship. So either a line slanted up, like a positive correlation, or a line slanted down, like a negative correlation. So the Pearson correlation does measure the extent to which those two variables form a straight line. And so regression is going to build on that, in that regression actually allows you to identify that line. So I will teach you how to identify and how to actually create the line that best explains the data. So we call this the best fitting line for our data. So it's essentially, if you think back to the last chapter when we were dealing with correlations, we had a bunch of graphs. In those graphs, we had data points, the little dots in them, and then we also had a straight line in most of those graphs. That straight line is the regression line, or the best fitting straight line. And also what a regression can do is it adds to what a correlation can do, in that essentially what a regression allows us to do is it allows us to examine the relationship between these two variables in terms of prediction. So once we create that best fitting straight line for our data set, we can use that line to predict where somebody would be. So let's say we know if we do a regression analysis for how many hours you spent studying and then see how it predicts exam scores, then we can use that line to predict, knowing how many, if you know how many hours somebody's going to study, you can predict what their exam score will be. So really focus on this word predict. It's going to be very important in this chapter about regression. One final thing that regression allows us to do that is not allowed or not addressed in the correlation is that we can actually use more than one variable to predict an outcome. So whereas correlation, you could just look at the relationship between two variables at a time, a regression allows you to look at more than two variables at a time. So for example, if we wanted to look at number of hours studying and number of hours of sleep in predicting exam scores, we could use both of those variables to try and predict that outcome of the exam scores. So we're going to learn about a couple of different types of regression analyses. They're very similar, so they're all included in one chapter. But the different types of regression analyses that we're going to discuss are going to be first the simple linear regression. So the simple linear regression, it uses one interval ratio variable in order to predict another interval ratio variable. So the simple linear regression is limited to just two variables again. So it's basically almost identical to what we were doing with the correlation, except the primary difference here is you notice that word predict. So whereas correlation just looks at the relationship between two variables, a regression allows us to use one variable to try and predict the other. So it does specify more of a kind of directional influence. So since it's still a correlational type of analysis, we can't say cause and effect still, but we can use one variable to predict the other. So if we think hours studying predicts exam scores, we can look at it in that kind of directional way, versus the correlation just looks at the relationship between those two variables and doesn't specify any kind of directional influence. So that's when we'll use a simple linear regression. And then the other possibility with regression is to do a multiple regression. So a multiple regression is this situation where you have two or more interval ratio variables that you're using to predict one interval or ratio variable. So really, you could have any number of variables that you're using to predict an outcome. So it's not really limited by how many predictors you have. For a multiple regression, you can have a whole bunch of different variables that you're using to try and predict your outcome. We're just going to go through examples using two predictors, but do know that you can use more than two. So let's talk a little bit more about this best fitting line and what that looks like in regression. So again, the thing that regression adds beyond what a correlation can do, one of those is that it can identify this regression line, or it gives you the values to graph this line that best explains your data. So all lines are going to be represented by the following equation. So this is the line for when you have a single predictor. So a single x value trying to predict your y. So this is the general structure of our linear equations, and we'll talk a little bit more about what each of those different aspects of the equation is. So in this equation, b and a are going to be referred to as constants. Essentially, those are going to be numbers. So what b is it's called the slope. So when you think about the slope, you can think about it in a similar way to how you think about r. So it's very similar and quite related in the calculations of it to the actual r test statistic from correlation that we discussed in the last chapter. But essentially, if you have a negative slope, that means you'll have a negative tilt to your line. It will be looking more like a negative correlation. If you have a positive value for your slope, it's going to look more like a positive correlation. So again, the slope, so that b in the equation here, that's going to be your slope, and that's going to say what direction your line is tilted in. So I'm going to show you an example in a little bit. But before I do that, the value of a is what's called the y-intercept. So a in this equation here is just going to be the y-intercept, and that number is going to be where that line, where your regression line crosses the y-axis. So essentially, when you think about graphing any equation, you have your x value on your horizontal axis, and you have your y value on the vertical axis. And so wherever your line crosses that y-axis, that vertical axis, that's going to be the value of your y-intercept. So talking a little bit more about some of the other things that are in this equation, the x is always going to remain just x in your equation. Essentially, that's where you're going to plug in different values into the equation to try and get what the equation is solving for, which is the equation is solving for y hat. So it's the y with a little hat on top of it. And the reason it's called y hat is because this is referring to the value that's predicted for your y. It's not anybody's actual data. It's just the value that's for y that's predicted by your line. So I'll show you a little bit more of what that looks like in a second. But when we're dealing with regression, do remember that we're using an x value to predict somebody's value on y. So that's why we're using y hat in our equation, because that's representing the predicted value of y. So let's look at an example of what this regression line will really look like here. So this is an example of a regression line. Again, well, this doesn't have any actual data points in it, but in general, any relationship between two variables, the regression line is whatever the extent of that relationship is between those two variables. So here we have, again, x is going to be a value that you're going to plug into the equation, and the y hat is representing the predicted value for y. So in this example, we have the line is sloping downward. So in this case, we would have a negative slope since that line is going down. So if the line was going up, then your value for b, again, b is representing your slope, then your value would be positive. So in this case, though, our line is slanting down, so we would have a negative value for b, or a negative slope. And that can be interpreted in a similar way to a negative correlation, in that there is a negative relationship or inverse relationship between your variables. So let's look at here in our line, that is our y-intercept right there. Again, the y-intercept, or the value for a, is going to be where that line crosses your y-axis, also known as when your x is 0, that's what your y is predicted to be. So we're going to talk more later about how to actually identify that best fitting line. So before we do that, though, let's talk a little bit more about what the regression analysis actually examines. So essentially, our regression is going to look at making a comparison between the degree to which our data are being predicted by that line. Essentially, you could think about that as like the correlation. So the degree to which our data are actually forming a straight line, and we're going to compare that to the error or the unexplainable difference between our data points and the line. So again, the predicted variability is going to be the extent to which our actual data points are forming a line. So that's the predicted variability, versus the error is going to be the degree to which our data points are not falling on that line. So we can't explain why these data points aren't falling exactly on our regression line. So since we can't explain why this person is higher than they were expected to be based on this line, we can't explain that, so that is our error in the regression analysis. So with a regression analysis is actually quite similar in the analysis of the hypothesis test, because it's similar to ANOVA in that it uses an F ratio, just like ANOVA did. So what the F ratio is measuring, though, is quite different theoretically. So the F ratio for ANOVA looked at the between group variance versus the within group variance. So the F ratio is a very different ratio in this chapter, because the F is looking at the predicted variance or predicted variability. So again, from that last slide, that would be the extent to which your variables are forming a straight line. And it compares it to the unpredicted variability. So again, from that last slide, that would be the extent to which your variables or your values are not falling on that line. So in the next videos, I'm going to talk about how to do a hypothesis test and analysis in SPSS.